The man my parents chose for me already had a wife. My parents had one rule growing up, one rule that towered over my entire childhood like a giant shadow. No dating until marriage. Not no dating until you're ready. Not no dating until you find a good person. Not no dating until you're mature enough to choose for yourself. No dating until marriage, period. Non-negotiable, written in stone like the 10 Commandments. And for 24 years, I obeyed every single rule they gave me. I followed them so closely you'd think my life was a Bible study workbook. While my friends giggled about crushes, while they whispered secrets on the school bus, while they shared their first kisses behind bleachers and cried over their first heartbreak, I was at home, doing puzzles with my parents, attending Bible study twice a week, learning how to guard my heart like it was a precious museum artifact. I never snuck out, never flirted, never even looked at a man longer than 5 seconds. I thought I was being righteous. I thought I was being loyal. I thought this was what good daughters did. But the thing about being raised to obey is, you don't know you're allowed to say no. Not until it's almost too late. It happened when I turned 24. Old enough, apparently, to join the adult world of Christian courtship. One Sunday evening, my parents sat me down in the living room, smiling the kind of smile people wear when hiding a secret. My mom placed her hand on mine like she was delivering holy news. "Honey," she whispered, "your father and I have someone we want you to meet." My stomach fluttered, not with excitement, but with the unfamiliar feeling of something happening without my permission. My dad added, "He's a wonderful man, the kind of man God chooses for faithful daughters." Then my mom gave the name that would haunt me for months, Timothy. She said it like it already belonged to me, like she had already written it on embroidered pillowcases, like she had already imagined our children. "He's 31, she continued, smiling wider. "Established, mature, God-fearing. From a very respected family in your father's church network." My father nodded. "And he's been praying for a wife. A wife, not a partner, not a friend, not a woman with dreams or choices. A wife." I met Timothy the next week. Not in a restaurant, not in a park, not in a place where two people get to actually know each other. No. I met him in my parents' living room, with my dad sitting across from us and his mother sitting beside him like a security guard monitoring our breathing. Timothy was tall, very polite, clean-cut. The kind of man whose shirts don't dare wrinkle. Every hair was in place. His posture was so stiff he looked carved from wood. He spoke softly, using rehearsed phrases like, "I'm honored to meet you. I believe God aligns paths with purpose. I'm seeking a woman who values obedience and stability." Obedience. That word made my mom smile like she'd won a trophy. We met a total of 12 times, always in our parents' homes, always with tea on the table, always with supervision, like two teenagers caught doing something wrong. He was never inappropriate, never rude, never emotional. He was scripted. I thought maybe he was nervous, or shy, or simply very, very traditional. But there was something else too, something I couldn't name back then. Something tight, controlled. Like he wasn't living his own life, just reading lines from someone else's. After the 12th meeting, he proposed. He didn't even try to act surprised by his own words. He looked at me with those unemotional, steady eyes and said, "I believe God has chosen you for me. Not I love you. Not I feel connected to you. Not I want to build a life with you. Just God chose you, so you must accept." And I said yes, not because I loved him. Not because I wanted to. Not because I felt anything except confusion. I said yes because all my life I had been taught one thing: obedience is safety. Questions are rebellion, and rebellion is sin. I didn't know I was allowed to say no. After the proposal, the mask started slipping. The first crack, whenever I tried calling him, his phone went straight to voicemail after 8 p.m. Every night, like someone flipped a switch. I asked him why once, gently. He replied, "It's healthier not to be on the phone late. There's no need for unnecessary communication." Unnecessary, talking to your fiancé. The second crack, his texts were always short. "Okay, sure, later, I'll ask." No need, never emojis, never warmth, never voice notes. Even his typing felt controlled. The third crack came during a family dinner. My parents had invited his family over. Everyone was sitting around the table eating roast chicken when Timothy said, "I'll check with my..." He paused. I watched his face tighten. His jaw locked. His eyes darted to his parents. Then he corrected himself. "With my parents, I'll check with my parents." My parents laughed it off like nothing happened, but I felt something then, a ripple, a tremor. He was about to say something else, something he wasn't supposed to reveal. 3 weeks before the engagement ceremony, everything exploded. I got a Facebook message request from a woman named Grace. I didn't recognize the name, no mutual friends. Her message was only 4 words. "Are you marrying Timothy?" My stomach dropped so fast I thought I might faint. I replied, "Yes, who are you?" 5 minutes later, she sent the words that split my entire world in half. "I'm his wife." I froze. My heart pounded so hard I could hear it in my ears. I felt heat rising up my neck, my hands shaking so badly I almost dropped my phone. I thought it was a prank, or a jealous ex, or some kind of mistake. Then she sent the pictures. A courthouse photo, her in a white dress standing next to Timothy in a suit, both of them signing paperwork, a hospital form listing spouse, Timothy, a Christmas photo. Matching red sweaters, a decorated tree, her head on his shoulder. My vision blurred. No, this couldn't be real. Not the man my parents chose. Not the man who quoted scripture at me. Not the man who said God chose us for each other. I called Timothy immediately. He rejected the call. Then he texted, "I'll explain later, don't do anything stupid." That sentence told me everything. The photos were real. The marriage was real, and he had no intention of telling me. Grace wanted to meet. At first I refused. I was terrified, confused, humiliated. But she sent a voice note. Her voice was raw, broken, not angry, just exhausted. So I agreed. We met at a small cafe. When she walked in, my breath caught in my chest. She looked like someone who had been drowning for years. Dark circles, shoulders slumped, hands trembling around her coffee cup. And when she spoke, her story poured out like a dam breaking. They married 3 years ago when she got pregnant. They were in love, happy, planning a quiet life together. Then she miscarried, and everything changed. His parents blamed her for failing to give them a grandchild. They told Timothy she brought shame to their family. One night under pressure, he left her, walked out, never came back. He never filed for divorce. He never tried to fix anything. And worst of all, he wasn't allowed to remarry unless he married the right type of girl. A girl who wouldn't question anything. A girl trained to obey. A girl with a spotless reputation. A girl from a good Christian family. A girl like me. I wasn't chosen for love. I was chosen for convenience. To erase the shame of his first marriage, to clean his record. I felt my entire chest collapse. I showed my parents the photos. My hands were shaking as I placed them on the dining table. My dad stared at them with a stone face. My mom barely blinked before saying a sentence that made my blood turn to ice. Every marriage has complications. Don't ruin this. Complications? A secret wife, a hidden marriage, a shattered woman sitting in cafes begging to be heard. My dad added, "These things aren't your concern. Timothy respects authority. That's what matters." Respecting authority. Not respecting me. That's when it hit me. I wasn't a daughter. I was a project, a symbol, a vessel for their perfect Christian family image. They didn't want me to be happy. They wanted me to be obedient. And if obedience meant marrying a man with a living wife, so be it. Timothy called me that night. His voice was shaky for the first time ever. He said, "I knew you'd overreact. My marriage to her is nothing. It wasn't love. It'll be different with you. With me, the second wife, the replacement, the gullible girl raised not to question." I hung up. I called Grace instead, and I met her again the next morning. I held her hand, looked her in the eyes, and told her, "I won't let them bury you." Then I kept my promise. I printed the photos, every single one. I put them in envelopes, and I sent them to his parents. My parents, the pastor, the entire church group chat, every elder, every auntie, every prayer warrior. If they wanted truth, they got it. If they wanted a scandal, they got that too. Then I packed a bag. I didn't ask permission. I didn't explain. I didn't wait for guilt. For the first time in my life, I chose myself. I left my parents' house. I left their rules. I left their expectations. I left everything that kept me obedient and silent. Last week, Grace texted me, "Thank you for giving me my voice back." I still don't know what my future love life will look like, but I know one thing with absolute certainty. I would rather walk alone than marry into someone else's lie.